Welcome. It's still good morning, Anambra. Now, the United Nations designated the first Monday of every October as World Habitat Day to reflect on the state of our habitats and on the basic right of all to adequate shelter. You know, the day is also intended to remind the world that we all have the power and the responsibility to shape the future of our cities and towns. And of course, today we have come on Good Morning Anambra show to join the rest of the world to commemorate the World Habitat Day and of course discuss our own state of habitation in Anambra State, Nigeria, the right of all to adequate shelter and the reality on ground. In the studio this morning, we have an Honorable Commissioner for Housing, and he is none other than Sir Honorable Polly Onyeka. We are delighted to have you in the studio this morning, Honorable Commissioner.
Good morning. Good morning, viewers. Good morning. And I want to say welcome to the program and a happy World Habitat Day.
All right. It's indeed a World Habitat Day, but before we delve into the issue properly, let's get back to the studio right away to bring you a backgrounder on what we have to do today.
World Habitat Day 2024. This year, we are focusing on how young people can help shape a better urban future. Anambra State, like much of Nigeria, faces rapid urbanization, and our cities, Onitsha, Awka, Nnewi, and Ekulobia, are growing faster than ever before. Anambra State is home to some of Nigeria's fastest growing cities. Onitsha is our bustling commercial powerhouse, famous for its sprawling markets and the Niger River Bridge that connects it to the rest of the country. Awka, the state capital, is the administrative heart where key government institutions and businesses converge. Nnewi stands tall as Nigeria's industrial hub, a city built on innovation and enterprise. Ekulobia, on the other hand, is emerging as a center of growth, serving as a vital link between urban and rural areas in the state. But as our cities grow, so do the challenges. Congestion is a daily reality in Onitsha, where streets struggle to handle the thousands of vehicles and pedestrians navigating the city. Awka faces the task of providing adequate housing and public amenities for its expanding population. Nnewi, despite its reputation for enterprise, struggles with pollution and environmental concern due to industrial activities. Ekulobia, with its rising prominence, is facing the challenge of balancing urban development while maintaining community well-being. These challenges are not unique to Anambra. They reflect the issues faced by cities across Nigeria: unplanned urban expansion, inadequate infrastructure, and environmental degradation are putting a strain on our communities, and as our population continues to grow, the pressure on our cities will only increase. By 2030, over 60% of urban residents across the globe will be under the age of 18. This is a statistics that speaks volumes about Nigeria, where young people form the majority of our population. In Anambra, it is clear that the youths hold the key to our urban future. They have the potential to drive change, innovate solutions, and lead efforts to create cities that work for everyone. We need to take charge of our future. Cleaner streets, safer neighborhoods, and well-planned urban areas are not just dreams. They can be a reality if we get involved. It is our responsibility to push for change, to advocate for policies that make our cities better, and to take part in community projects that uplift our environments. World Habitat Day is a reminder that we must all play a part in shaping our cities. Engaging youth in urban planning, environmental conservation, and sustainable development is crucial if we are to address the challenges of rapid urbanization. Our cities need to be more resilient, and they need to expand in a way that ensures that they are inclusive and safe for all. The rapid urban growth we see today demands new thinking. We need to create urban centers that can accommodate our expanding population while ensuring that quality of life is not compromised. Young people with their fresh ideas and energy are central to this transformation. In Anambra, cities like Onitsha, Awka, Nnewi, and Ekulobia have immense potential. To unlock this potential, we need to get young people involved, not just as beneficiaries of urban development, but as key players in its planning and implementation. From waste management to the development of green spaces, from housing initiatives to promoting renewable energy, youth participation is key to building cities that are not only larger but also better. Anambra cities can be beacons of progress, and it all starts with action today.
All right, you're welcome back to the studios of Good Morning Anambra show today, and it's United Nations International Day for Habitation, and we are in the studio with Polly Onyeka, the Honorable Commissioner for Housing in Anambra State. And of course, you had the background that, and you will agree with me that there is a surge for the younger ones to move to the urban cities, and not just in Anambra State, like the report rightly said, but in all states across the nation, even globally, because globally they recognize that 70% of global south, currently youth in the global south make up to 70% or more of in the cities. So you can see that there is a surge for people to move from their villages to the urban areas. So what are the plans? Let's start from where we are. What are the plans of Anambra State government to containing this surge?
Okay, thank you for asking this all-important question. The urge will always be there. It has been like that. It's natural. Everybody is hoping to get to where he or she will always make ends to meet. Trying to find solutions to problems of life, especially economically and socially. So it is not something that started today. It has always been there. And in Anambra, we as a government started by planning, because you must plan anything you want to engage in. If you fail to plan, that means you had already planned to fail. And that is why we started with this. We have what we call sacred documents for Anambra growth. And those documents, what we call the Governor's People's Manifesto. We have the Vision 2070 document, which was also handled by Mr. Governor as the chairman of that committee. And then the Transition Committee document. These three documents have provided, a kind of direction for the government in what the government will be doing. And we are following them strictly, because the three documents were well structured. Okay. And if you come to the issue of housing to start with, you see that because I will come to your issue of the youth and the engagement, but I need to give you a background introduction of what we've been doing, like you said. So if you come to the issue of housing, you find out that we started by having a holistic approach. You can't talk about habitation, you can't talk about building infrastructure, you can't talk about those things without the aspect of environment. And you can't talk about them without thinking about the key issue there, that is livability, proper livability. That's why Mr. Governor will always talk about building a livable and prosperous mega city, smart mega city, where people will live, work, educate themselves, that's learn, and enjoy themselves. And that is what we have in mind. And Mr. Governor is developing this housing sector in a multifaceted form. To say the least, this is the first time I have seen a government engaging itself fully in the aspect of the those infrastructures of government. Because when you talk about habitat, you remember we have that of official habitat for government offices. We have that of commercial and industrial habitat. Then we have the one private habitat for private homes where people live. All of them are important. So, and in Anambra, if you go to the House of Assembly today, under the legislature, you see the wonderful transformation that Mr. Governor has brought to bear in making the building infrastructure there, which was almost like nothing any longer, to something that you can always behold and be happy that you are from this state when you get there. So also in the judiciary, currently we are not only doing the aspect of upgrading the building infrastructure of judiciary in various parts of the state, but we are also doing what we call the judges' quarters, several units of them, at Onitsha currently. And we are also in the aspect of building another, this time around, a modern court, call it court halls, modern one, so that when you get to our courts and see the building infrastructure that has been brought to bear, you will be happy. You can beat your chest and say, yes, I'm happy to be Anambra. So that is the kind of things we do, And so also in other MDAs, because we are like a service ministry, we service the health sector. Like now, the trauma center is going on at Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu Teaching Hospital. Okay. It's a very gigantic edifice, the first of its kind in Nigeria. Okay. Like second grade of trauma center. Like I was told, you hardly could, get a first grade in Africa. Okay. So that is what the kind of things we do. And all the teaching hospitals, the major ones like the one of Atekulobia, Enugu, and Umweri, we had already transformed. Okay. We've upgraded them to referral centers. Okay. That when you get there today, you see that people from all the primary health centers and other general hospitals will always, refer their patients to those hospitals. And it's well situated because Mr. Governor will always have a good thinking over things. He thinks, truly over things before he engages in them. So it was not by mistake that we have each one coming from a senatorial zone. Ekulobia serves the south, Enugu serves the central, and Umweri serves the north. Okay. So that it will make for easier referral of patients. And that's what we're having today. I will ask you to go there. In fact, for me, it has become another a good site for medical tourism.
All right.
So that's on that.
Okay.
And then you continue to go to health. I won't begin to mention them. Ubo Remiri, Urban Boys, so many of them. We are also working at Ado Girls currently, and
These are schools now.
So there's so many, So that's why I say it's multi-sectorial.
All right.
That's the development. So, and that is on that. But what we are saying is that even though we are doing this in very many states, let me not continue to name them,
okay.
That we are doing all this. The key thing is, how do you structure them for sustainability? Okay. And that is why the state has come up with what I may call a new housing policy, that today the elements in that policy are being enshrined in various bills that had been forwarded to the House, some of them under environment, some of them under fiscal planning bill, and all West North, to make sure that we don't just build, but we build for livability. And if you ask me, I will want to touch on this, because...
All right, before you really go into that, there is something I would want you to, where in answering it, you can now bring it on livability, because that's the area. Now, in Anambra State, for instance, there are some areas mapped for industrial areas, but you find out that some people go to those areas to build residential areas. So it's a kind of mixed up that people live in industrial areas, which of course we know the consequences in the long run. And in our background, that you talk about the congestion where people build houses very close to each other. Is there anything, because you talk about livability, that's why I'm bringing this up. What are you doing to ensure that people build where they are supposed to build, and anyone that is not, maybe buildings in industrial areas should be moved or removed, so to speak? Is there anything the government is doing in that regard to ensure that our people have livable places?
You've just taken the answers from my mouth. You see, actually, when we talk about livability, we are talking of a holistic plan that would make people to have this comfort. Not just that you're living in a place, but you are being suffocated, or you are having one hazard or the other because of the environmental pollution, or pollution from industrial areas and other things about that. So it's to get towards having a good, well-structural fiscal planning, in that the aspect of the town planners will come to play, that this will be in this place, this other one will be in the other place. That is why Anambra State has come up with, putting proper, square pegs in square holes. Today, we've developed what we call the pharmaceutical hub. In fact, it's still under proper development at Oboji, where we want to house everything about pharmaceutical industries. Are you with me? And as that was going on, we also, as a government, has come up with the aspect of mixed industrial estate, where we house different categories of industries. That one is also coming up. And equally, we decided that instead of what the chaotic situation we are having at the place we call the drug market at Onitsha, which ought not be, that we need to put up a wonderful edifice that will be the first of its kind to house that special kind of business, the pharmaceutical goods and appliances. And that is what is coming up in Oba as we talk. So that is the way the state is trying to decentralize. In
an effort to move industries away from where people live.
To decentralize things, so that things will not be that clumsy and be in one place. And again, In the totality of it, the state government is also mapping out places for certain aspects of things. There is a place that has been mapped out for export and pouring. There is also another place for, specialized, businesses, so to say. Now, coming on from here, I want you to also note that it is not even the business of government to build habitats. By whatever you name you may call it. If it's private homes, if it's what do you call it, in industries, if it's commercial centers, it's not even the business of government all over the world. If you get to develop clients, you find out that what government does is to introduce what they call enabling environment.
But they should be interested to know what you're building.
I didn't say the government will not be interested. I've already told you that we have laws that will guide all these things that are coming up. We are very much interested.
Okay.
But I'm talking about the quantum now, not the quality. Talking about building, maybe for us to try to make sure that we reduce the housing deficit issue or problem we have in the state. It is not the state government that will come up to begin to build. But what the state government will always do is to put up an enabling environment that will serve for a lot of, houses to begin to come up. And that's what the government is doing. Today, you look at the road that moved from Amansi to Ebenebe towards the above family. If you get to those houses now, where you hardly see people get to, you see hundreds of housing estates. That's what we call the housing development companies.
Okay.
You see many of them
coming up,
buying land to develop estates. That is because the road is there. And that's the enabling environment we are talking about. The street light is there. Everything is coming up. So that's what government's supposed to do. But if the government had used the money for that road to construct buildings, I tell you, how many units will it get to? Talk of the number of people we have. But this one had now, made a surge up of these companies to come up to build. And when they will build now, they will build in thousands, hundreds of thousands of units. Then you get to the other side of Amansi also, to Ndukwenu and Co. A lot of activities are going on there.
All right, but it's it's still the responsibility of the government to checkmate.
No, I'm coming there.
Wait,
I said when I was trying to put up this, I said I was talking in terms of the quantum.
Okay.
Now, the issue of checkmating is talking about the quality. And that's where I'm coming to now.
All right.
And that's where I want to blend the aspect of this with the housing policy I was talking about for the state, which I said some of the elements there have been enshrined into the bills that have got into the House. I think some of them have been passed, into law. So, what are we talking about? You don't build for just building sake in Anambra of today. If you must build, you must make sure that all the relevant authorities, that you start from day one with them. To start with, if it has to be in Awka Capital Territory, the Development Authority, Awka Capital Territory, you must do everything you have to do, the fiscal, policies, approval, so to say, that you need to have. You must do that with Awka Capital Development Authority. ACDA. If they don't permit you, if they don't say this is where this will be, and you are doing that at your own peril. Because you could finish putting all those billions, and the next thing that will follow it will be demolition. Because you didn't do what you needed to do. And it's a strict, what we may call in law, a strict liability offense. Because you will not say, they did not come when I was starting this building to market. It is not their job to come. It is your job to go to them and say, please, I want to build this house. This is my plan. Where can I site it? Maybe it's an industry. Where and where can this happen and that happen? Look at the plan and see whether it's in order. And they will tell you everything that you needed to know. Give you all the necessary permits. So that when you are building, they themselves and our team in the Ministry of Housing and will be able to supervise what you are doing. What we call stage by stage certification. You get to a particular stage, they certify you and say, okay, carry on with the next stage. You get to that stage, they look at what you have done and they'll see that it's okay. They'll say, okay, carry on with the next stage. That is it. And you ask me how many people that have been doing that before now. So, for me, this program is an eye-opener to even some of them to know that you don't just do that and have a claim tomorrow that you were not told. You were not, your building was not marked ab initio or when you were starting it. Nobody is interested in coming to mark your whatever unless they are doing their job and they get to the place and they found that it was so and so, like so and so, it was not proper.
Stipulation was not
followed.
Thank you.
No, immediately they see that. Even if you had gone too far on that, it is the time they have seen that they will mark it. And when they might give you notice to remove, if you don't remove, you're on your own. So,
in other words, before ever you dig your foundation or you do anything on a land, you have to go for permission.
Of course. Of course, you don't just start building without getting permission. You must go to the appropriate authority.
Just in the capital city?
In everywhere, I'm coming.
Okay.
Because I have just mentioned that of the capital city.
Okay.
Now, I'm coming to where it is not within the capital city. If it's not within the Awka Capital Development Authority. Okay. Awka Capital Development Authority houses,
some
communities around, so many of them, both Nibo, Isiago, called them, even up to Bo, and then some of them at Amor Bianco. There are many of them that within the Awka Capital Development Authority, But outside this Awka Capital Development Authority, the Anambra State Fiscal Planning Board comes to play. Anything you are doing anywhere, and they have their officers within every local government. Anything you are doing everywhere, you must go to them and say, look, this is what I have. Guide me on what to do. And they will tell you all the necessary, they follow you, get to where you want to do that, do all the necessary measurements, look at your plan, find the loopholes in the plan, find the things that are supposed to be there, tell you the setbacks, everything. All those things will come to play before you now start digging your foundation. Okay. But if you fail to do so, you will not be hard tomorrow to be said that somebody came to destroy your house. No, because you brought that upon yourself.
All right.
And mind you that the ignorance of any law is not an excuse.
Okay.
So that is on that. Now, if you like, some of the elements I was trying to put up that we say we don't need any longer to make sure that we build for livability. Number one, we don't allow you to build in any space you have that you build in more than 65% of that space. If you must build in only 65% or less than 65%. The rest, 35% or more, will now be for parking, for green veg, for flowers, ornamental trees, and always not. That is it.
That's the plan.
That is the normal now.
All right, Honorable Commissioner, you hold it a bit.
I've just given you one.
Okay, you hold it a bit. We'll come back to you.
Okay.
In case you're just joining us, it's Good Morning, Anambra, and we are talking about habitation, how habitable is our environment in this part of the world as the world commemorates the World Habitat Day 2024 with Honorable Commissioner for Information, Sapoli. Commissioner for Housing, Sapoli in the studio. We take a short break here. Let's feel the pulse of the masses. We'll be back shortly. Do join us again, please.
The way to do that is to enlighten people, let people know about the dangers and the need to keep the environment clean.
Well, bucket I will. Really, 1 billion. How they did? These are the basket I there. We can never share basket. We're gonna go like straight here. Then we go for there, or for the center, for the DCC, or they have you why they do it. If we were there for a bar.
You know. The people have been pushed so much to the wall that people now, you know, out of frustration, they behave the way they like. There's so much hardship. Normally, it's not. I see people sometimes they drop a sweep and pack into the drainage system. It's very wrong.
As you know, they are the future leaders of tomorrow. They have to do much in terms of cleanliness. That's our waste management. They have to improve on it. Though it's in place now, but they have to do more. And another thing, deforestation again, planting of ornamental crops, flowers, is equally okay. But cutting down most of them is not good, as it causes erosion.
As a human being, it's the only pig that likes to live in a dirty environment. So we don't supposed to throw pure water and all plastic, all this plastic along the government constructed road.
To sustain our environment to be in a better condition, we, the youth, what we're supposed to do is to make sure first and foremost that the environment is always clean. We should not wait for government to be doing everything for us. As youth, we are the ones that are supposed to be helping the government. You start from your place you live first. Whenever you wake up in the morning, you try to look around to see how your environment looks like. If it is not neat, then you have to start sweeping it. Now, if you find out that there are potholes on your environment, now you have to start doing some amendments so that they say that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. So if you start from little by doing this, I don't see any how that the environment will get spoiled in future.
All right, we've felt the pulse of the masses, and I think the youths out there that really spoke on how to be engaged, you know, to create sustainable urban future. And I'm grateful they actually know what to do. But the Honorable Commissioner in the studio is going to talk on that much later, but after he has done with what he is actually saying. You're talking about...
I've mentioned on the issue of the buildability. The percentage buildability of our space. And I said 65% as against 35% that will be left for parking, for green veg areas, for planting of both economic and ornamental trees. And again, we've made it a point of duty that we live by example. We don't say do this and we do the other. If you get to where we are building what I may call the most classical government house in the whole of Africa, if you get there now, which is very close to this place, what you notice is that we are building in about 40% of our buildable space. The remainder of 60% is left for green veg, for orchards, for so many other things that will planting of economic trees and ornamental trees. Okay. That is what you observe there. And we are doing that to make sure that we bring up the aspect of livability in that place for those that will be there. Because sometimes people don't even understand why we also introduce the second element, that in each house there must be at least 2 trees. If you plant up to 10, better. If you plant up to 20, better. But at least 2 in a small enclave. Reason is that sometimes in the cities, you see people that they wake up in the morning and they'll be having pains, joint pains, back pains, this and that. It's because of lack of oxygen while they were sleeping in the night. But you get to the villages, you see that even though they go to farm, do all those things, but every morning they wake up very sound.
All right.
Because they have enough oxygen.
Please.
They have trees.
There's an area I would want you to comment on before we move on further to the theme for the year, which most of the people that spoke about. We've been faced in recent times with, displacement of people due to flood and, of course, insecurity in the system. And sometimes some are man-made, some are natural occurrences that displace these people. And most times, I don't know, is there anything we are doing as a people to ensure that these people get a livable place, a place that they will live permanently and not experience those things any longer?
You're always taking it from me. Because I was about getting into the aspect of not collecting allowing your water, your storm water to get out of your house. Okay. It's one of the elements that we're introducing now. You must collect your water within your house by putting up a catchment pit. Okay. Look at the garden.
In every home?
In every home.
Okay.
Even in the government house, we're going to have it. Okay. You have to collect your water within your house so that you don't have to push water out, because that water you're allowing to get out will be getting somewhere to cause erosion, land degradation and every other thing. So that's a problem, because by data, Anambra State is ranking second to Lagos in terms of smallness of land. Okay. And even though we are that today, we don't even know. Lagos is about overthrowing us, because while we say we are following Lagos in that, that Lagos is behind us in that. But today, Lagos is reclaiming a lot of their land spaces in the ocean shores. They are reclaiming them to become part of their land space. And the little we have is being washed away by flood and erosion, and the other aspects of land degradation. So ours is getting smaller. And that's why we don't want it to continue that way. Okay. We want to make sure that we curb all this. And curbing that, you were talking about some of the natural disasters that we can always prevent. We can prevent by tree planting. We are doing all these things. That's why Mr. Governor, when he came in, he looked at the global warming, the effects of global warming in the state. And one of the things he decided that we'll do is to plant a lot of trees. By now, we've planted not less than 3 million.
All right, quickly. Our time is fast spent. But I would want you to, because this government is a youth-friendly government.
Yeah,
how are you engaging the youth?
We're engaging them. Look at the issue of Atma. Okay. You can't talk about urban livability without talking about the chaotic situation in terms of traffic. So our boys, our young guys and girls are there under Atma doing their bit to make sure if you get to Onitsha, get to Nnewi, get to you see that you move seamlessly without any obstruction. That is part of this engagement. You also engaging them through the environmental ministry, because they are helping in this tree planting, and they're helping in aspect of the setting of gutters and all West North, so that we'll have a clean environment.
All right.
And then we'll be able to reduce the effect of this lack of oxygen and the depleting of ozone layer that is causing the what do you call it, the
depletion.
global warming,
okay.
and causing all these unnecessary heavy rains and all west north. So that is the issue.
All right, Honorable Commissioner, we
also
can go
engaging
on
them in
on.
renewable energy.
I know.
Renewable energy, helping them to be part and parcel of
We
it.
can actually go on and on, but our time is fast spent. The sports people are, warming up to take over the studio right now, but would like to thank you so much telling us what the government is actually doing to see we have a beautiful habitation in Anambra State, and let us all know that we have the power and the responsibility to shape the future of our cities and our towns, especially the younger generation. Thank you so much. It's great having the Honorable Commissioner for Housing in the studio this morning, Honorable Polly Onyeka. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, and thank you, listeners.
All right, my name is Nonye Nwokoye. Let's do this again tomorrow. It's a goodbye from here.